Hey everybody, and welcome on back to Minecraft. Today we are on my Patreon server, gonna be doing a world tour, checking out some of the amazing builds on here. But first and foremost, I want to inform you all about an awesome update coming here very soon to the Patreon server that I am so excited about. It's been in the works for the past few months, and it's finally coming here. Starting in early January, we're aiming for January 1st, but we are going to be expanding the Patreon server. So this survival world that has been here since February of last year is still going to be remaining. It's still going to be here, and this would now be a perfect time for anybody new interested in joining up. It'd be a great time for you all to join up in the server and all that community. If you're interested in doing that, there's a link to the Patreon page down below in the description, but more importantly, the other updates coming to the server. We are going to be adding a second survival world inside of the same server that will be reset on like a yearly basis. So if you're seeing all these buildings around here and say, ooh, I'm a little far behind, I don't want to be committed to joining a server where I'm so far behind, well, boy, do I got a deal for you. We're going to be launching a brand new server here early January that's going to be full, fresh, from nothing, and it's going to have a cool reward system on like this reset basis that we're still figuring out the first reward for the first way that we're going about it. So if you have any ideas on that, be sure to let me know. But we want to do sorts of challenges, build challenges, themes, or whatever it might be inside of that world, and then at the end of it you win some awesome rewards to get yourself started back here inside of this world, or continue on any projects that you might have. So maybe beacons, some custom mobs, some custom weapons, that we could have some cool unique items or something like that, because we can do custom models for people who are winning. All those awesome things would be a great way to go forward. Then on top of that second survival world, we are adding a creative plot world into the Patreon server. So maybe you're not the survival builder, or maybe you like survival building, or you want to test some build out before you do it. You can do that here on the server as well. There's going to be a creative plot world where you can just go have a bunch of fun doing what you love to do, and it's going to be absolutely amazing. Now, that brings me back to everything that we got going here on this side of things today. Epicraft is looking cool up there, staring down on us. We got the first person stalking us for this entire video, it looks like. But we're going to be jumping around to a bunch of people's bases. I'm not just going to be wandering aimlessly. I've asked a bunch of people on the server to share some of their favorite base locations with me, projects that they're working on, and all that fantastic stuff. So we're going to be teleporting around to those. But one final note that I did forget about is you can see this port area right here is brand new, and it's being worked on as we go. What we are doing is, because our world is rather large, we've been going on for a long time, is we are bringing in a sort of a fast travel system. So instead of spawning where we're at that big old Christmas tree, you can now come over here, take one of these boats, and it will take you out in one of the cardinal directions, north, east, south, or west, to a secondary spawn town out more closer to the world border that we have, which is pretty far out there, and there's not many builds there, so it gives enough fresh terrain for people so you don't have to wander aimlessly to find something. So it's gonna be much better off, and I don't even know what's going on here. Let's check out this castle while we're here first. I think this is Nimes, if I remember correctly. But it's grown a lot since the last time I was here, and it's under siege like every other large castle in this entire world. Wiki here on the server loves to put everything under siege and attack them with trebuchets and catapults and all those superior siege engines that you could ever need. It looks like this place is very much still in the works, but it's looking pretty fantastic. Ooh, I like the aqueduct here. It needs to be coming from a bigger mountain, maybe. But I like that design a lot. I really have fallen in love with recently andesite walls. I think they're such an awesome block. I've been using them a bunch recently. But anyways, let's jump around to our first bases. Just kidding. The first base on the list was this castle that we were just at. This actually is Nimes' base. It's called Nymeria. And I just want to do another quick walkthrough through the city streets here, because you can see the amount of life that's in this. These little details like this, where you have this defining border wall that takes you up this direction versus the flat way over here. I love those details. It looks like that's coming up to the place where Nimes is still very much in the works. I know I am currently in creative mode right now. That's just to help us get around easier and see a few better views of the place. But this is all a survival world that we're in right now. So you got to remember that this was all built in survival, seeing all the chests and furnaces and things around here. But it just looks fantastic. I love all the layers of this city, and just the street view where you're walking through right here, and like this archway really breaks up your view and you can't really see too much. And then we got to see inside of this. I don't know if the interior on this one is done. It looks like it is. We are praising the cats. A giant F for fWhip, I hope. We're going to say that one's for fWhip. Coming up to another one in Nimes builds here. Players kind of just gave me in the list, and so whoever got them in first, we're making sure we get into those ones. So this one is Nimes build called Pine Grove. Looks like it's a bit of a Nordic-inspired build that's very much in the works still. I like it a lot. Barry the Innkeep. Barry's got a small inn, or maybe that's the inn. Barry's Berry Bar. There we go. That's what it is. Pine Grove Bridge. This is really cool. I'm really interested in checking out this structure over here. Since I'm doing some Nordic stuff myself, I always love getting a little bit of inspiration from seeing what everybody else is doing. I like how he's using these dark oak like bands to give it some more depth. Instead of just having that on the end and flat going throughout, it gives a lot of extra depth just by having that sticking out a little bit. And then you can see some points where it's even, like just through that half block right there. And it looks really cool. There's a lot of different textures being used here. And I love how a lot of these things are off center as well. Instead of everything just being directly centered, it gives it a lot more life and character to it. And is this some sort of a, looks like a meeting hall or maybe like a Stav-styled church of sorts? Now this build right here is by 2010, and they are trying to one-up me like crazy with their mountain game. We are currently up here at 250, means there's 5 more blocks high that he can go with building this structure. And just look how massive this single mountain is right here. And this blob from the inside is absolutely insane. I remember checking this out a long time ago on a stream, and it was so fun. But we got to start down here. We've got to start over here. Do I have my Elytron? I definitely don't have my Elytron. But check out just these gateways. They're so fantastic. I think this is the nether portal. This is one fantastic way of creating another portal, and he's used a bunch of map art like this to be able to create some maps and just have his own custom banner logo design in here. And I think it's just so cool. And you can really see it from here. Like, it really stands out, and it doesn't look too crazy against the stone brick either, which I really like. Normally you see those and they're very boxy and square. But this is the Kingdom of Naldarin, which is awesome. These giant gateways just scream like giant dwarven fortress to me, which is so cool. I don't know if there's a way to quite get in here. I think it's through this little tiny one. That big gate is not moving very quickly inside of Minecraft, and it also serves as a storage room from the inside. Look at that. How do you even access these chests back here? How do you... Is this just like... Oh, it's all just stone. This is everything they've dug out. All right, so coming back here, we can see all these giant statues, and I'm definitely going to revisit this once we get to our dwarven base. I like how each of them is symbolized with a different tool to mix it up. And seriously? More banner art? Like, how much time do you have? That's insane. That looks so cool, though. And just this optical illusion of walking into this room through the archway. Just look at this. Everybody just look. Just look at this thing. Look how big this room is. Think of how much time it took to make all of this black concrete being used in here. And the best part of it is what we're standing on right now. We're going to go right up next to this beacon beam and just look at the detail in this floor right here. This design is something that I couldn't even start to comprehend coming up with myself. I absolutely love it. If we could just get the beacon beam out of here and actually look at it from straight up here at the top, like with, oh my gosh. Look at that. The amount of detail that goes into just this main entry room is absolutely insane. I love that. There's so much color down here, and I think it's all just covered by a single layer of black glass. It is. So the black glass in my texture pack, which many people on the server use, is just like this foggy effect that works out great. And they did another one. There's obsidian everywhere on the floor here. I guess that makes this entire area mob proof, so you don't have to mess with too much stuff in it. That's a really cool idea. But let's just look at this floor here as it grows beneath us as well. Oh my gosh. That's so freaking cool looking. You could just like spin. Just like spin yourself around like this, and it'd just be super trippy. All right, do we do this? And then you just like drop down, you keep spinning. All right, we are at one of Wiki's builds here. This word right there that I'm not even going to try and pronounce. We're going to be walking through this one, though, because I think it's very, very cool. There's a lot more immersion inside of this place through walking on the ground level, because you have so many of these fields. And a lot of it up there is still being built up. You can see the line for like an aqueduct or something coming out of here. And it looks to be like a Roman, Greek type inspired build. Probably more Roman, though, knowing Wiki and the vibe he's been going for here on the server. But it's very cool. There's a lot of sandstone being used into it. Apparently, the name is changing. The words are swapping around the closer you get to the town. Maybe that first sign needs to be fixed. I like this bridge just being flat, though. I feel like I never personally build like flatter bridges, but I've been really wanting to. I also never build ones that are that long, so it probably explains why. And we got the raiders themselves are hanging outside of the walls here. I love that it's a wooden wall. And then at the gate, to make it more reinforced and stronger, you have just this stone like barricade and extra stuff to it right here, which is very, very cool. Anything inside this house? It looks like it's empty. Coming inside the town, though, this is the famous trick that I've been using for a very long time. If you have villagers, close that and they stay inside your village. Looks like we got a water source in there. I'm guessing most of these interiors are not completed by the looks of it, but this town is really starting to come together. It feels like there's a lot of detail that you can add throughout these side areas and very much still in the works, but I love showing these builds off because it gives a great reason to come check them out again later in the future to see where they are at. And that's a very cool well design right there. Ooh, that's with the diorite in here, then andesite or granite granite strips going around. Gives a cool detail bit. And we've got their like religious Parthenon or whatever it's called up here, which is looking great. No way to really walk up into it though, but that's totally fine. Lots of gold blocks being used, and this poor horsey is stuck down here, and a broken bridge. And all this stuff might be broken in the end. It looks like that might be trying to make a broken area. So maybe it was a fortress that's no longer being used, and now some farming folk have come here to live around it. People on the server really put my castle game to shame. We are at Wounded Ginger Man's castle build, which coming through this gateway, you can just see this insane build being revealed behind it. And a lot of it is still very much in the works. I think he's been at this for a few months now, and it's just massive. Look at the size of this one. The interior hasn't even been started yet, which I totally don't blame them for at all. I do like the dark nether brick being used as it. We can't even load the entire castle in at once. All right, well, let's see if we can get all this stuff to load in back here. We're missing half the castle, but you can see in there the interior is very much still open. It keeps growing. It just gets bigger and bigger. Oh my gosh, look at this thing. And there's a whole town over there. Oh, that's the town we were literally just at. Okay, Wiki, you're insane. This man is not only building giant Roman fortresses, castles, and everything else you can think of. He's going for a futuristic United something space something or another. Just look at the scale of these things. They're absolutely massive. Just the building scale on all this stuff. Apparently the pillagers are still attacking by sea. 2 by sea, many by sea, none by land, because there's a barbed wire fence over there. But just this thing is it's huge. I don't even know how to describe this one. We got a plane taking off over here. We got a watchtower with many little turrets on top of it. Just look at the detail. If you're ever trying to build some futuristic turrets, just look at these. Look at these things. Just using some fence gates right there into some end rods and using the daylight sensor, some anvils, hopper on the back. That's just so creative. This stuff, like, I would have a terrible time coming up with these plans. And looking at all of like these tanks and armored cars and everything throughout here, I think this build style is something that I just personally have never understood, but I find it so cool. We are over at the Dreadfort by Second Menach, and looks like we got a giant market square here. This one is the terraforming level on this that Second's been trying to tackle is insane. He's very much trying to one-up me on the mountain game here as well. As you can see, there's so much more scaffolding being planned out over here for the shape of these things. They're insane. They're so cool. And he's actually taken the time to do the backside of most of the mountains, I believe, over on those ones. But we'll be checking that out here in a sec. This town we did look at inside of our last world tour, and we've checked out a few times. It looks like not much down here has changed to super, like, a lot. Just at a loss for words over here. The mountains are very cool. This farming area, we can jump down here and walk through this, because I love this detail where a tree is just fallen over the road, but you can still kind of walk over it if you need to. And there's just some houses hidden in here with some storage, maybe some living quarters up at the top floor. Looks right here. Yep, great living quarters. And you can just kind of move your way around, and it really does a really nice job of making you feel like you're in an environment of lots of interiors completed. Very much, this is the fWhip Patreon server, everybody. Interiors are about a 30% chance of happening. But coming over here, I think we can get a grand view of the mountains kind of right around this point. I think the top of that is needing to be loaded in. I love the flowers at the base and this river flowing through here. I think all of the water at the base of these mountains is super cool. and it just comes up to these points. I would say maybe making these little grassy areas being a little bit more on the slope itself instead of they kind of just flatten out. Have some trees on it. Oh, there's a cave down here. Look at that. We find new things all the time. They're spying on me. He's going up the mountain, everybody. Lies. I'm in the mountain. There's a whole custom cave system in here. What is this? Yeah, it looks like there's a whole cave system being built here, which with a bunch of different networking pathways and everything, which is very cool. It looks like this might just be a flower forest biome. I jumped in spectator mode so we can just fly in and out of the mountain as we wanted. And as I mentioned, he did complete the backside here. So, you know, he's one-upped me on that side of the mountains actually look completed from no matter which side you're looking at them from. The next build we were checking out is by Ilmok. It does not have a name to it itself, but it's a very fortified little village or town of sorts in here. And I like it. It's very cool. I like walking through the streetway and instantly feeling like I'm in the village. Maybe besides looking out that way. From here, you feel very much inside the village with a broken down wall here as well. It looks like there might have been a tower at one point. Nothing's attacking from that distance, so maybe the town folk are just lazy and don't want to rebuild it. That little archway right there, that design to get a lantern over your road, pretty cool. A lot of these houses look to be just kind of going for a mishmash village style, using pretty much every type of building block you could, even some clay and some wool to create the side of a house, which is very... Ooh. I gotta see. Oh, it's a second layer. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. That's pretty cool, though. I like that detail of adding the clay and wool together. That's a good color combo. It works much better instead of just doing like another color of wool in there. That works out really well. I love this brick one, though. I think I'm just obsessed with bricks right now in Minecraft. This wall right here. Perfect. Peak performance. I love having free-range piglagers and cows out here hanging out. This one is by Stone Wolf, and he's calling it the Abode. Looks like the interior of this one still has yet to come together, but this is a giant custom mountain, so I'm hopeful for something in here because I saw these little caves while doing a brief flyover. Oh, the Abode is right here. That makes a lot more sense. So it looks like it's mostly an underground build, designed with fWhip's texture pack and BSL shaders, inspiration and tutorial from Mythical Sausage, fWhip, Jaracraft, and Pinterest. Pinterest, the best way to go. Oh yeah, it's very big. Ooh, I like it. I like it. I like these big hallways. I've never really do builds like this. Do you all really enjoy like building underground and doing this type of stuff? Because you don't have to worry about the outside. I think it could be kind of fun to do something like this here soon. I've just never really done those types of things, so it'd be kind of a whole learning process for me. Ooh. How did I not see this from the outside? Oh, it's because it's stone and covered in snow. Wow, I really missed that. There's a lot of space inside of this thing that you can go and explore. Look at the little statue. Look at his shield. I love the shield and his little boxy head. Oh, that's great. And then in here, and that's just another portal. Okay, got it. Did I close that? I did close that. I'm really trying hard not to leave doors open because I know people would be pretty upset if I did that. I'm curious what's behind this door, though. Apparently a closing door in your face. Another statue right here. And then we go further down and then more and more down. And there's the storage room. It looks like we're going to be getting some more statues here. Look how long they're like. He's like, look at that. I got a power stance here. We are walking towards deskgallows, build the dragon's head inn, which he very much wanted me to check out here. And I already love it because the note blocks are crates inside my texture pack. And I love when people use those as a form of like a roof decoration or a wall decoration. I think it's so, so cool. So we got the dragon's head in. I think the whole interior of this one is completed. Yeah, it is. Ooh, that's a very cool fireplace. With the gold swords hanging off the sides. That's awesome. The outhouse. We got to check out the outhouse. Ooh, we got many, many bathroom stalls in here. If you got to go, we got space for you. And there's already stuff in there ready to go. That's cool. Normally I just build like a single one just surrounded by some trapdoors. But I like the whole bathroom scheme that you got going on here. Staff only. We can, we're the admin here, so we can do it, right? We can get in here. And then this is inside the inn. We're in the inn, everybody. And there's a whole place for you to store a bunch of horses. This is like the realistic scale of what like a really big one would be. And you even got some birds flying around, I guess. What is this? Look at that little face. Oh, I love it. There's a little chubby guy sitting here on the side. But you could have everybody staying up here. There's another house for people to stay out here. And then there's some animals for all the food that they might be serving in the inn. And then everybody whose horses are being boarded here as they're traveling around, there's plenty of space for those, which I think is really cool. You won't just want a random inn out in the middle of nowhere. you'd need somewhere to store the horses, at least a field or something of those sorts. Bright white screen warning, everybody. Just be aware. We are at the Salt Flats by deskgallows again, which is insane. I love the idea behind this one. And the ocean right over here is where all the water would come in. It would then evaporate. It would not, like, the tide would come up, all the water would come in here. It would go back out, evaporate, and all of this salt would be left behind, which is all of this white stuff, and I like it. I love the scale of this one, but I feel like a few more of those sandstony rock things around the area, or maybe some bigger ones here in the front, could be pretty cool. Our resident diorite lover, Blocky, is building these insane diorite-only castles, which this one is just absolutely massive. It's still growing like crazy. The plans are still being laid down. The walls are being filled in. This is a lot of diorite to gather, and don't worry, I'm not going to take the texture pack off. I will not burn your eye holes by showing you what this actually looks like with just regular default diorite. You don't want to see it. All right, we were at Charon's place where he is making this insane bowl-shaped build to house part of the castle or something. I believe it's called the outhouse. It's got a placeholder name. That's not his official name for it, but just look at the detail inside of this thing. There's so much stuff going on here, using a bunch of purpur and glass, and then the build around the castle itself here is just absolutely massive. Look at all these rings planned out. I'm assuming those are all gonna be giant holes here as well. Very much still work in progress, but I had to stop by nonetheless. Just to put me to shame, Second maybe come and visit this one where he mined 1 million blocks before me. So, there you go, Second. We stopped here. This one is by Red R, and they're calling it Italia, where they have these giant rolling wheat fields. We've got a windmill out there at the end. This very, very cool pathway to walk through. And then these awesome little structures here that just like, I love this, like, what is it, a pagoda? Something like that? I don't really know. Cool little fountain here. Big old flag coming up all the way throughout it. And then a stables area for a bunch of horses and storage and all that stuff. Mostly storage, it looks like, for a bunch of hay. And then I'm not sure if the inside of this one's very much finished up yet or not. I think it looks mostly open. I think it's such a cool design, though. It looks like there's a lot of farms, and this is where the technical side of the wheat gathering goes to be able to get all the seeds. I personally would never gather up this entire thing just after replant it. That sounds terrible. The amount of quartz that is going into Bradle's build here is insane. Look at how much quartz is just using this main gate. Can you imagine building entire walls out of quartz? I guess with villager trading in 1.14, that's probably a lot easier than ever said before. This one was named Insert Witty Name here, and it's pretty sweet. There's a lot of above ground stuff going on with these structures, but there's a lot more below ground stuff right like this, and a bunch of strip mining going on. Lots of other things throughout here. I think it's just a whole cave system to get yourself all the way down to the bottom, to where all of the mining and fantastic stuff happens. But coming through the walls, we can see right over here, he's got something going on with a pretty cool dragon build right here, using some little end rods for some horns and a little stone button for some eyeballs. And I think it's more of a throne. I think it's going to be a big old throne room in here, which is pretty cool. Oh, it's the secret throne. We got the real throne and the guy who thinks he's king. And then the real king stares at a blank wall of stone brick all day long. I know we're going a little bit faster through these ones here at the end, and I apologize for that, but I spent way too long at the beginning ones, and I want to make sure I get to everybody today without this video being 5,000 hours long. Realistically, like 35 minutes, but we'll see on that one there. Coming over to Leo BTW's base. It's a very cool little forested farming village. I like the custom dark oak trees. That's a type of tree that I never really try and do the custom side of. I never really build with those as trees. I think it's just not in my current tree repertoire, but I like this. I like the different levels. There's so many different levels to this build, and of course a custom mountain. Who on the server is not building a custom mountain? Everybody's just like, Whip builds them. We have to build them too. Which I think is so funny. I think our nether portal is right down here. I think I remember exploring this one a while ago on a stream or something. And it's just very cool. There's a lot of different things going throughout here. I like all of the villages just kind of being scattered along, or the houses being scattered along the pathways. And, ooh, custom mushroom. We gotta, do we fix it? Do we fix it? I don't. Ooh, no, we don't fix it. We don't fix it. It might be on purpose, but I like these. I want to build some custom mushrooms here soon. I think that'd be a fun challenge to do. We are here at Kimmy's base. She has been one of the most active people on the server since it probably got started. And she's never built a base. She's been nomadic the entire time. And I love seeing that she's finally found a build that she wants to settle down with, which is so cool. I really love the contrast here between the dark oak and the sandstone. I think it's a really cool way. And this is kind of like not really that traditional medieval vibe because we've got all these big like umbrellas and chairs and things throughout the entire place. But bringing in the spruce leaves and birch leaves as a kind of a way to brighten things up and a little bit of grass around the structures of the buildings is pretty sweet. And using glazed terracotta correctly as the base of a watery pool of sorts in this kind of Mediterranean vibe going on here. Very, very cool. I can't wait to see what the interiors do on these ones. I think that's gonna be super cool. Up here though, there's a lot of space that you might want to like on the corners of these ones. If you just added like a chiseled stone brick or a chiseled whatever this thing is, that sandstone right there on top of it, just to raise those up slightly. It might give you a cool way. And then you could also have like a rooftop garden going all the way off in that direction. That'd be a cool way to go for it. But you can see more structures being built up over here. And I was told to follow this dirt pathway and we'll find a hillside village, which oh my gosh, I love this. The red sandstone in here, I would never really think of using that inside of one of these in a husk head. Hi buddy, you've had better days there, buried in the sand. I would never really think of using red sandstone like this just for houses, but with the leaves and everything, tying it into the other builds, it really works super well. And it looks like there might be some more stuff coming throughout here. Nope, not quite. But oh, wait, can you get up to like this level from here? No, it looks like there's a different way to get up to there. But I think like having like some staircases or things inside of here that'll spit you out on different levels, and then having the houses like tiered up on top of each other can make the hillside village super, super cool. I don't even want to know what this is supposed to represent. Either a river of blood or somebody's creating a custom river. I'm going with river of blood. We are over here for our final stop at Castors Castle of sorts that they're working on, which is pretty cool. We got a nice little front gate here, very much in the works. Like many things on this server, people are still actively playing on here. And I like the oak being used here in contrast with all of the spruce. I think it gives it a good highlight and helps it feel like there's a lot more going on with it than not. And that actually ties in very, very well to this structure back here, which is like a magical fantasy wizard castle of sorts, or tower, castle, wizard tower of sorts, something. I like the little bits of grass and everything up here. Whoever's job it is to water those plants, dear God, please, hopefully that window opens. And he's here working live. Look at that. We caught him in the action. Castor here is actively working on this one as we're going around. He doesn't even know we're here. We are in spectator mode. Good job. Yep, you're placing those oak blocks down. Good job. Ooh, you ran. What do you do here? Ooh, we break that out. Okay, live building happening. Creative process flowing right here. What's he gonna do? Perfection. You did it, Castor. Good job. Sorry, everybody. I had to. Overall, I like this one. I like all the oak. I think it'd be cool if almost like, I'm sorry to ruin the perfection you just did, but adding some sort of like a trim to it, or even like doing the oak border and maybe like birch on the inside might make it pretty cool. But I mean, I like it as is too. I'm thinking just like ways to spruce it up a little bit without using spruce wood. I know this is probably going to be a long one, but thank you all so very much for watching today. I hope this was able to inspire a bunch of you to build some cool things. And if you want to build some cool things, you need a place to do it, feel free to join the Patreon server. Links to my Patreon page down in the description below. Everybody tier 3 and up gets access to this fantastic server and everything else that we talked about at the beginning of the video coming January 1st-ish. Hopefully January 1st. We got to finish building up the hub, and so hopefully over the holidays we can get some good build time going in on that one. But anyways, thank you all so very much for watching. Please hit that like button if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new, and I will catch you on the flip side.